I've been training consistently in the gym for around about 2 years now, and I have never done a deadlift before. And it was basically because I watched this video. It's a clip from the Joe Rogan podcast with strongman Robert Oberst. And in the video, he basically explains that the risk to reward ratio is is a joke, is his words. And basically, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, really. Like, the potential risk of injury is just not worth like the slight gains you might get compared to doing different exercises. So if you're new here, I'm Kieran Brown. I'm a body transformation coach, and I'll help you to get results like this. Basically, I've been through my own journey in the past couple of years, and I want to teach other men how to achieve the same. So yeah, if you're interested, coaching link is in the description. So if you don't like doing deadlifts, or have never done deadlifts like I have, then what exercises do we want to do? And I think it's important, first of all, to find out what the different muscles are on the back and what we're training. You might have heard of different terms, but not actually known like what part of the back actually relates to. So there are 6 parts on here, but I'm going to focus on 3 mainly. And that is the rear delt, which is actually a part of the shoulder. Delt means shoulder, rear as in back. So you have the front delt, medial or side delt, and the posterior delt. And even though it's part of your shoulder, it's obviously like on the back of your body. So we'll include that one. And the other 2 are the traps and lats. The other 3 will sort of be trained like anyway, and you know, the 3 that I mentioned are sort of the bigger muscles. So how I train them, I train back 1 to 2 times per week. If I'm training like 3 times per week, maybe when I'm like cutting, I'll do it once a week. And then if I'm on a lean bulk like I am now, I'll train it twice a week. And I aim for around 10 to 18 sets per week. And now I'll go into basically how to create your back workout without the need for deadlifts. So the first kind of motion that I always do, and the first exercise when I get into the gym on a back day, is some kind of pull down motion. So that could be pull-ups, chin-ups, or a lat pull down. And the body weight ones, the pull-ups and the chin-ups, if you're just starting out, you can start with assisted ones, where you basically have a weight that helps you to bring your body up if you're not strong enough to do body weight reps yet. So with the assisted pull-ups and chin-ups, it's actually weird because the higher the weight, the easier it is. And then eventually you'll get to 0 weight, which is body weight. And then once you can do, I don't know, 3 sets of 10, say, comfortably doing body weight, then you can start to add weight. And I add weight plates to a weight belt. And yeah, just the ones with like the chain on, and you just put the chain through the little hole in the plate and just do your pull-ups from there. And then lat pull down is obviously on the machine with quite a wide grip. Next, I would do some kind of row, and yeah, either seated with like a machine or a cable row. Bent over row, I've actually only ever done once before. I've just preferred like other exercises, to be honest. And lawnmowers with the dumbbells, where you sort of put your hand on the bench and your back is parallel to the ground, and you do one arm at a time, and you sort of do the lawnmower motion with the dumbbell. So yeah, once you've done your like pull motion, then you want to do some kind of row. And then I'll do some shrugs. So this is targeting the traps. And yeah, again, there's many variations of these. You can do it with the barbell, with the Smith machine, dumbbells, or if there's like some kind of machine where you can do this exercise as well. I tend to prefer the dumbbells, and I also recommend, if you're doing shrugs and your arms and like your grip strength give out before your shrugs are like sort of worn out, then I highly recommend getting some lifting straps. You put it around the dumbbell, and basically when you're stood up, if the dumbbell is secured to lifting straps, then there's not as much like pressure and tension on your forearms, and it enables you to target the shrugs more effectively. And then, as we mentioned earlier, the rear delt is technically part of the shoulder, but I actually do this on back day. So any kind of like cable crossover, so that's when you've got cables each side, and then you go like this, and you're holding like each cable, and this is the start position, and you just sort of pull them out until your arms are basically like straight out either side. And it's really lightweight with that one. Reverse fly, either on like a machine or a dumbbell. It's sort of the opposite to like a pec deck. And face pulls as well. So just having like the rope attachment that you use for tricep extensions, and you're basically just like pulling like this, pulling the rope towards your face, and that will engage the rear delt. So here's my current program for training back minus any deadlifts. I do this twice a week. So currently I'm doing push, pull, legs, rest, push, pull, legs, rest. So I'm training most of the time 5 times a week, and then sometimes 6. So I always start with 3 sets of weighted pull-ups, and I would do reverse pyramid training, which means I start with a heavy weight, do the first set, drop the weight around like 10% or so, do a second set, 10% again. And the reps should also increase each set as well. So, the first set you might get 4 reps, and then second set 6, and then third set 8. So as the weight goes down, the reps go up. That's just the way I do it. Some people like straight sets where you just do like 3 sets of 10, for example, but it's up to you really. Then I'll do 2 sets of seated row, and I would do the first set is around 6 to 10 reps, and then I'd drop the weight by 20%, and then go for around like 12 to 15 reps. This is something I learned off Tom Sergey. It's basically like he talks about a front set and a back off set, and you can go to failure on both sets because you're only doing 2 sets. So it's quite an efficient and intense way to train. Next is some kind of shrug. As I said, I like to use the dumbbells, but any kind of motion where you're just holding a weight in your arms, and then you just bring your shoulders up to your ears, basically. And even if you just do it like now whilst you're sitting there watching this video, you'll feel the tension in the traps. And then next is the crossover rear delt. So that's the one on the cable that I mentioned. Just 3 sets of that, and sometimes I like to throw in a drop set as well if I'm feeling up to it. So yeah, that's my current program, and that's just one way of doing it. I'm sure there are plenty of other ways, but just know that you don't need deadlifts to build a great back. And I will eventually learn how to do them, but I want to do them under like supervision with like a personal trainer. And I'm planning to get a personal trainer, maybe like next year at some point, just to basically nail down like technique. And that's where I'd like to do the deadlifts. But until then, I'm just going to carry on doing this kind of workout. And if you want some help getting started in the gym, try and lean down, see some abs, click the first link in the description. So yeah, that's everything. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.